The following is a presentation of the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, and entertainment in Fairfield and Westchester counties.
From the Darien Ice Rink, it's now time for boys ice hockey on the HAN Network. Good evening, everyone, with a rockin' Chris Kalin, a rockin' AJ Simonowski, Eric Gendron directing, Frank Granito ice side. Now Eric Gendron is rocking. Clearly everyone's punchy. I'm Rob Adams. Tonight we get the second game of our doubleheader as the Darien Blue Wave take on the Fairfield Ward Ludlow Mustang Co-op. As we get ready for this one, Cato, really, we've got what should be a good one on tap if you go by records. Look, the Mustangs are 9-1-1 overall. They're 5-0 in the FCIAC. The Blue Wave are 10-1, coming off a big win on Saturday against New Canaan. They're also 5-0 in the FCIAC. I understand you look at strength of schedule and all that, but if you just look at the records, in theory, should be a good game.
Absolutely, and if you're Fairfield, you wanted the big dog, you've got them. Defending FCIAC champions, defending Division I state champions. You know what? If you're going to put any kind of stake in what your season is, it's against these guys right here.
Starting lineups as we get ready for tonight's game. For the Mustangs, they'll put Mike Grace in net. They'll have on the wings Gareth Gassetta and Jack McCormick and Jake Fuss centering the top line. Charlie Pippert and Jeremy Ziegler will be on defense. For the Darien Blue Wave, they will have David Voigt in net. On defense will be Harry Congdon and Scott Voigt, and the top line of Riley Mullen, Max Romine, and Herbie Hazelton. Captain standing out at center ice, talking with the on-ice officials. And Frank Granito now double duty, so hopefully you can say a hello to us.
How are we doing, guys? So we've got the top two teams of the East and West Division, and like you said, Cato, if you are Fairfield, tonight is the night if you find out if the hype is real. And the way they're traveling right now, you get the sense that this might be a better game than a lot of people expect.
We will get ready to pause for a break here from the Darien Ice Rink and get ready to drop the puck as well. You've met the starting lineups. We'll throw the puck in just a couple of minutes. It'll be Darien and Fairfield coming up. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
At Innovative Health and Rehabilitation, we provide an advanced level of care to resolve symptoms and minimize recurrence. Our experienced professional staff design and implement effective plans to return individuals to their prior level of function. We specialize in the treatment of orthopedic and sports injuries, pre-post surgical rehabilitation, performance enhancement, strength and conditioning, vestibular rehabilitation, balance and gait training. A convenient location and flexible scheduling is available to accommodate your needs. We look forward to providing you with a comprehensive level of care to meet your rehabilitation goals. We are also affiliated with 3 high schools.
Redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at the Darien Ice Rink, they did the national anthem. Just some of the creature comforts that they did not do before the girls' game. And look at the huge cheering section turning out for the Mustang Co-op tonight. Great shot there of them. And they are outnumbering the Wave student section. Normally during the national anthem, as much as it's fingernails on a blackboard, the Wave cheering section will normally scream the word Wave in the national anthem. There are so few here tonight, they didn't need to do it.
So few? I don't think there's any.
I was trying to be polite.
No,
or
I
at
know.
least keep the veneer, the idea.
No, I know. It's just that it's usually the Darien. It depends on the game, and I'm surprised a game like this, the Darien student section hasn't come out.
Before we drop the puck, I've got important stuff to get to. Very important stuff to get to. In between games, Dave Stewart brought up a tray of what I will call cookies and cream truffles, Oreo truffles, call them what you want. They are ridiculously delicious, and they are courtesy of Kate McMahon and Catherine Granito of the New Canaan Rams, and A.J. Simonowski has them all to himself. I had one, and I could finish that tray. They are that good.
And she would wait until I left.
I was going to say something, Frank, but I thought you had already had some.
That's unbelievable. And,
I guess to see you at home now became wait till I get home.
And I think to the Darien student section's credit, I'm pretty sure they're all watching on the Han Network tonight.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right.
No, absolutely. I hope they are.
All right, Max Romine matches up with Jake Fuss, and away we go. Right now, theoretically, 1 versus 2 in the FCIAC. I know the Greenwich Cardinals would like to say something in that regard. To the far end of the ice is Mike Brace. David Voigt right down below us. We are 13 seconds in. Of course, again, as you look at the Darien Ice Rink, it's a top-to-bottom view here. It's just the best place, media-wise, for us to set up shop. Not the most ideal, but so it goes. Played back to the right point, put through traffic, and loose behind the net. Trying to set up in the left corner. Gazzetta grabs along the left wing at the hash marks and back out to center with a head of steam. Hazelton just rifles it down, going for a change. 45 seconds gone by, period number 1 in game 2 of our doubleheader. Into the left corner in the Fairfield zone. The classic colors for both these teams, of course, resplendent in the white with the blue are the Darien Blue Wave, the white and blue on the sweaters, very sharp, and the red, white, and black of Fairfield. That's the colors of Fairfield Ward, thus they go by the Mustangs, even though they are a co-op, because, of course, it's kind of a blue and white combo for Fairfield Ludlow. But doesn't seem to bother them. Played back out to center, turned right back around by the Blue Wave, Owen Collins, of course, the hero on Saturday. Much better game than some might have anticipated between Darien and New Canaan on Saturday. It was 4-3 when all was said and done, but it was 3-3 after 2. Held in at the right point through traffic down on net and held on to by Grace. Wrister coming from Sam Knowlton just inside the right point. No score, 1:32 gone in period number 1.
Absolutely, Robin. Fairfield showing the speed early. You saw it on that quick rush here and the possession in their offensive zone. They moved very quickly with and without the puck.
Along the right side boards, down in the Fairfield zone, they'll play it back to center and across the line, Jake Fuss. Fuss down to the side of the right circle, heading down into the right corner, had his pocket picked by Max DeBerardinis. No score, just about 2 gone by in the first period with Chris Kalin and Frank Granito. I'm Rob Adams at the Darien Ice Rink. Down into the left corner. David Voigt will come out of his own net. He'll send it around to the right side boards, but held in by the Mustangs. Bottom of the right circle, left circle, beg your pardon. Harry Congdon plays it back to center. Got away from DeBerardinis down the left side, and the icing whistled with 12:45 to play in the first.
And looking at both these teams before the game, the advantage Darien has is personnel. Darien has 4 lines they can send out to the skate, and doing the head count, from what it looks like, Fairfield only has 3. So Fairfield's going to have to be much more calculated with their shift changes.
There is some basketball going on tonight as well. In fact, I just spied a 29-26 lead for Greenwich, I believe on top of Ward, but I'll keep you posted on that. Girls hockey, Fairfield beat Notre Dame of Fairfield 5-2. Comes back down into the right circle, put on net. Oh, it was a good chance out in front. They'll turn it back around and play it out to center, but waiting there are the Blue Wave. That was Knowlton. Now lifted down the left side by Connor McCarthy, the sophomore defenseman. Goes behind the net of Mike Grace. Whistled around into the left corner with 12:17 to go in the opening frame. Down into the left corner, that's where that student cheering section is, so plenty of fun to be had there. Loose goes off to the left side into the corner with just about 3 gone in the first. Bouncing back out to the right point, played down through traffic it goes, and now into the left circle, and the Mustangs will start back from top to bottom. Big hit right across the line, getting knocked down was Keegan O'Reilly, a sophomore. No score, 3 and change gone in the first, and Grace covers up.
Lackadaisical play there by Fairfield in their own zone. They've got to get the puck out. Something that Darien does better than anyone else in the state is the neutral zone trap. They will beat you in transition, force you to turn it over without getting it deep, and when they come back, it's odd man rushes.
No score off the face-off. Play it down into the left corner. 11:42 to go, first period. Fairfield trying to show that they're for real. Now, of course, they don't play in Division I, which is where Darien is, of course, and they're the defending Division I and FCIAC champions. But Fairfield, you know, regardless of division, wants to say that they belong in the FCIAC conversation. Trying to play it back out to center. Held in at the right point. This will go out of the rink. 11:22 to go in the first.
And Darien early, they looked like they were Fairfield's speed was getting a little bit of the best of them, but now they've settled everything down, and now they're really working on it, and they're starting to establish their forecheck and sustain it.
Face off to the left side of Mike Grace in a scoreless first period. At the bottom of the right circle, David Voigt would like a little action, maybe not, but certainly got to stay sharp. Back in the neutral zone, and it'll be taken back by the Blue Wave. Playing cross ice to Scott Voigt. They will turn it back out of the zone. Owen Collins trailing the play. Down the left side it goes into the corner. Eddie Glassmeyer comes on for the Blue Wave. 10:55 to go first period in a scoreless first here at the Darien Ice Rink. Into that left corner it goes. They scrum for it. Out it comes. Jake Kirby was there as well. Goes behind the net. Glassmeyer for the Blue Wave. Around to the left side boards. Gazzetta on for the Mustangs. They'll play a little tic-tac-toe into the right circle. On net and squirts wide. Good chance there, a whistle, and the dangerous fuss was there, a tripping call with 10:34 to go in the first. And penalty box Granito is no longer penalty box Granito.
It's going to be Harry Congdon going off. It looks like it's going to be for the tripping, Rob. Now Darien's going to have to work on the penalty kill early on.
And we often talk about what constitutes a good penalty. With the very talented and dangerous Jake Fuss, that's probably a good penalty taken by Congdon, but it does put the Blue Wave in a hole. 15 seconds gone on the power play, and they are aggressive on the penalty kill. Thomas Sulger was there for the Blue Wave. No score, 10-10 to go in the first periods. They'll blast it down, will the Mustangs. Back behind the cage. It'll be pushed aside by Voigt. 10 minutes to go, first period. Held in at the left point by Charlie Pippert. Down behind the cage it comes to the side. Taken over here by Jack McCormick. Whistled across into the left corner. And thrown back out of the zone by the Blue Wave. Sulger got it all the way down into the Fairfield end. 51 seconds gone on the man advantage. No score as we come up on just about 9.5 remaining in period number 1.
Excellent opportunity for Boulder Heaney. Recognizes the rushing Gachetta across from the far circle. Tries to get it across the crease. Just gets it out there a little too soon.
Thrown down into the right corner it goes. Now behind the net. Bounces around loose back there. 44 remaining on the advantage. Held in at the left point, now turned around, and it'll be the Mustangs coming away with it, so tempted to say the Falcons as well. Down into the Darien zone, 30 remaining on the power play. Any shots on this power play off the top of my head?
I could tell just one so far.
Okay, fair enough. Across the line goes Jake Kirby. Kirby down behind the net in the Fairfield zone, goes around to the right side boards, chipped back out and held in. And the Fairfield Mustangs will turn it around. 9 to go on the power play. They bring it back through the neutral zone. Sent down on net. Voigt puts it in the glove. He's going to hold onto it. 8:36 to go first period. 2 seconds remaining on the power play and still no score.
Excellent penalty kill by Darien. Despite the 2 shots on goal, but they weren't really, for the most part, in this penalty kill. Everything was in Fairfield's defensive, in Fairfield zone, not in the Darien zone.
Romine for the draw. Power play expires. We skated even strength. 8:29 to go first period, no score. So to come down back behind the net of David Voigt. Sends it off to his left. Romine plays it off the boards, tries to get ahead of steam. Sprawling down to play it was Riley Mullen. He crashes into the corner, goes across into the right circle at the hash marks. Back out Knowlton through traffic. Oh, puck loose, dangerous. Looked like Grace got something on it. Played off to the left side and out of the zone. Back come the Mustangs. They send it down with a backhand. Axel Ram into the left corner. The sophomore playing it right there. Into that left corner again. It's Romine. Feeds it back out to center. Ram goes to grab it. Romine there as well. Twisted back and down on net. Voigt just sweeps it aside to his right in a scoreless game. 7:40 to go, first period. Backhanded again across the line by the Mustangs. So it'll be controlled back in the Blue Wave zone. Taken there by Knowlton. Knowlton will play it off the boards. Great headman pass out into the circle. Now into the slot and wristed well wide in a scoreless game. 7:25 to go in the first period. And again, no score. Back into the neutral zone it goes. Down to the right side. Now into the right circle. Put on net and Voigt's going to hold on.
Excellent scoring opportunity for Fairfield. They got the odd man rush they wanted right off the turnover. They get it deep, but unfortunately with a one-on-one situation with the goalie, there's nobody else to come there from the far side for a one-timer.
Puck almost squirted off the faceoff right back to Fuss in the slot. No score. 7 minutes remaining in the first period. Down to grab it is Scott Voigt, the senior defenseman. Takes a look. He's dogged by Gassetta. Plays it back to center. It'll bounce off the boards and across the line into the Fairfield zone. Cross ice it goes to the left circle and chip back out to center. In a scoreless game, 6:45 to go in the first. Now across the line, here come the Mustangs. They'll just push it down with Fuss. It'll rattle around and come into the corner. Scott Voigt to play it back. He gets it out to center. Just pushed along and nudged through the neutral zone. Down the right side it goes. Matthew Martin's on, the senior, for the Blue Wave. 6:25 to go in the first period. Back to the right point. Sent down into the left corner. Over to play it comes Hunter Hazelton along those left boards. 6:17 to go in the first period of a scoreless game. Back at the left point. Down the left side it goes into the left corner again. A lot of left turns there as Ziegler plays it for the Mustangs and back out to center. So they'll collect it, will the Blue Wave. They'll go cross ice. Hazelton again, just nudged along and across the line into the Mustang zone as the Blue Wave make a change. 5s on the scoreboard, period number 1, and no score. Hazelton again spins around, throws it back to center. Jake Kirby waits there. They go cross ice, collect it there from Collins. They'll send it down the left side. On comes Glassmeyer for the Blue Wave. Chip back and a big blast coming, although it didn't really get a lot on it. That was Scott Voigt back out in the neutral zone. 5.5 to go in a pretty spirited first period. Still no score. And again through traffic goes over the net. Now loose into the left circle. Playing it back to center and the Blue Wave come away with it. Backhanded with a little nudge along. Now sent down the right side and Voigt will go back and corral that hardened piece of rubber. Again behind the net. Playing it into the left corner. Kirby, the feed out to center. And a nice feed gets to Collins. Collins stops. Sends it to Kirby. Kirby coming over into the left circle. Collected once again in neutral zone ice by McCarthy. Goes behind the net, and Mike Grace, who's played solid in period number 1, leaves it aside. No score, 4:55 to go first period. Into the left corner, taken once again by Herbie Hazelton this time. Again, when you keep it all in the family, you got to make sure the names are all straight. Left side boards, for instance, Frank Granito, Catherine Granito, and the other Granitos as well. There are plenty of them. Pushed along through the neutral zone and down on net, and Voigt will leave it aside, not giving Frank a chance to respond. Sent back to the blue line and held in by the Mustangs, but the Blue Wave will come away with it. They'll take a look at things. Connor McCarthy feeds it across to Sam Knowlton. 4:20 to go first period. It's a scoreless game. Pretty good so far, with a good student cheering section on hand for Fairfield, while Darien, they are staying home and watching it on the HAN network tonight. 4:09 to go in period number 1. It heads off to the left corner. to the left sideboards, played back out to center one more time, bouncing off to the side once again. There is a whistle with 4 minutes to go in the first.
Might be a bench minor coming up for too many men. We'll see what the call is, that or it hit off a player on one of the benches. But so far to the game, a good start for Darien. They've been very aggressive on their forecheck. They've put pressure on the Fairfield D behind their own net, and most importantly, they've cut off the attack at their own blue line. There have been a few times Fairfield's been cut off from dumping it in deep.
Benjamin Brown has gone to the penalty box, Frank.
And it's loose, and the great leg save by Voigt. It is Brown going off at 11 minutes. I didn't get an indication, nor did I hear one. That's all bookkeeping. It appears to be a minor regardless. 3:42 to go in the period, and normally Frank is down in the penalty box, or in the scorer's area penalty box. He's penalty box Granito for a reason, to the left circle, but he is not there. He is working a camera for us, and we get another whistle and another penalty.
Well, Rob, I just spoke to the score table. That was too many men on the original penalty. Let me see what I can get here on this last one, too.
It's going to be tripping, and it looks like
Jake Kirby.
Yeah, Jake Kirby's going to go out for tripping.
So a 5-on-3 for almost 90 seconds. This is a huge opportunity for Fairfield right now. And the most important thing you can do is control the puck. Set up the power play before you just try to throw things at the net. Get a little momentum going on this shift.
Face off to the right side of David Voigt. Thank you, Frank. In comes Scott Voigt for the face-off, matched up, and away we go. The 5-on-3 has 1:22 remaining in a scoreless game. Held in, left point, fed to the left circle. Cross ice it goes, right point. They'll take a look. Will the Mustangs, right circle. There's Fuss. Just inside the blue line. Back to Fuss. Gets right circle. Feeds it down to the end line. Losing track of it. They go behind the end line. Bring it back around. Left circle now. Across it goes. Setting Fuss up. Not yet. Looking for the one-timer. It wasn't there for Gazzetta. Gazzetta collects it. Out of the corner. Back to the top of the left circle. The blast coming. Oh, it's loose and it goes in!
Fairfield got exactly what they wanted. They got the Darien three-man team out there, the three-man penalty kill on the shift, on the move, and then they get the traffic right in front of David Voigt, and they get the deflection. It lifts up, and the puck gets just enough momentum to get across the goal line.
1-0 on the power play goal, so one power play comes off the board, and still 1:20 now on a 5-on-4.
That puck just squirted across the red line into the net.
We'll get the bookkeeping when time allows. 2:45 to go first period. It's a 1-0 Darien lead. 1-0 Fairfield. My mistake. Right circle comes behind the net. That was Fuss. Bottom of the right circle now. Played by the Mustangs. They've got it. Ziegler, a 1-0 lead. Down to 55 to go on the advantage. That's McCormick. Now into the circle it goes, and thrown back out by Scott Voigt. Back out at neutral zone ice. 2:14 to go in the period. 40 remaining on the power play. A 1-0 game. Loose into the slot it goes, and spun around and cleared back out by DeBerardinis.
And Rob, that goal is going to be credited to Jake Fuss, with Jack McCormick getting the assist.
So Fuss from McCormick, and it comes at 12:10. And a huge goal. Frank said it was a big opportunity. Down to 17 to go on the power play. 1:42 to go in period number 1. And Fairfield, the 1-0 lead. They get it cross ice. This power play not nearly as sharp as the 5-on-3 was. This gets lifted out of the rink with 3 to go on the advantage. 93 seconds to go in period number 1.
But so far, from my count, I've got Fairfield leading Darien on shots on goal in this period, 7-4.
And going back to the 5-on-3, I thought what Fairfield did very well was off the draw. They didn't force anything. They took their time, let everyone get touches until, like you mentioned, Cato, the defense overshifted and allowed for the easy shot.
Power play has expired. 1:25 to go in the period. Into the left corner it goes with Collins. Now they go and grab it out of that left corner. 1:19 to go first period. 1-0 Fairfield. Collins comes over and joins the conversation with Glassmeyer. Playing it along the left boards. The Mustangs trying to clear it, and they're able to. Through the neutral zone, they'll just twist it down into the left corner. Along comes Knowlton. Knowlton leaves it behind with Hunter Hazelton. They'll spin it off into the right corner now in a 1-0 game, under 1 to go in the first. Playing it back out of the zone. It's grabbed and now turned over. They couldn't get it out of the zone. Fuss throws it on net, and Voigt holds on.
And I'm really surprised, too, because it looked like from up here, it looked like that puck exited the zone just before it bounced back. It looked like it bounced back off the Darien player's stick. I don't think the officials saw it, how quickly it happened.
Fuss and Romine for the draw. It just trickles down and pushed away by Congdon. Down to 40 seconds to go in the first period. Entertaining. Here's Romine backhanding it. Goes back behind the cage. 33 to go in the first period. 1-0 the score. Loose behind the net. Goes into the right circle now, and they'll play it back. From top to bottom in the red, white, and black are the Fairfield Mustangs as they whistle it down, and Voigt just pushes it aside. A 1-0 lead with 17 to go in the first, and a penalty coming here for a cross-check with 16 to go in the period.
And that's an excellent call for the cross-check on Herbie Hazelton.
And it's less so much that it was a cross-check versus he hit him right from behind. Even if it's an open ice, they don't want you to do that, so he'll go for the cross-check. And how about right before that, Romine with the breakaway opportunity. How many times this year have we seen Darien score in the final minute of a period and to not have one go right there?
Off the face-off with 14 to go in the period. There will be plenty of carryover time as another whistle hits us here. It left the rink with 10.5 to go in the second.
And some bad mistakes for Darien. I think it's just, a little bit of a rush getting in at the too many men on the ice. It's one too many, just a little bit of a rush getting onto the ice.
Save made by Voigt, 4.9 remaining in the period. Of course, if it hits the netting, it is out of play. And naturally, in this day and age, netting goes pretty much around the entire perimeter of the rink. Face off to the right side of David Voigt. 1:48 remaining on the power play. Down to 3 in the left corner with 2. Staying in that left corner with 1, and the period will expire. Well, there's some drama for you. Fairfield skates off the ice to a raucous ovation and a 1-0 lead.
And honestly, surprised to say it, early on, Darien controlled the puck for most of the period, but in the last few minutes of the period with the penalties, Fairfield has really taken advantage of the momentum.
And you can see it just kind of redirected and loose into the net. That puck just kind of trickled across. Fuss got credit for it, Cato, but really it was almost like an own goal because it looked like it deflected off the leg of a Blue Wave.
But you watch how that penalty, you see where the defenders, they're off on the right side. It leaves 2 men in front, two Fairfield Mustangs in front of Voigt, allowing for the screen.
And ultimately, it looked like it was Voigt's leg himself that it bounced off of and just trickled across the line.
But you see the 2 defenders, they're in the right circle. The puck gets across quickly, and then you see it hit right off Jake Fuss coming in. But the problem is there's no Darien Blue Wave in front of Voigt to allow any kind of protection. It's just you pretty much had 3 Mustangs to Voigt's left.
Knowlton was just off to his side, but to his right, the play was really developing to his left. After 1-0 Fairfield leading Darien, plus 1:43 of power play time as we spin in to period number 2. We'll take a break as the Zamboni hits the ice. 15 minutes gone. 15 more second period, and then 15 after that. That's the way it goes in hockey. 1 period gone. 1-0. Darien trails Fairfield. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and this is your in-game news update, bringing you some of the area's top stories on Monday, February 1st. Bridgeport Police's Violent Crime Reduction Task Force seized a cache of guns and drugs over the weekend. Police announced Monday afternoon that a raid of an Aldine Avenue home led to the arrest of 30-year-old Jack Kellhofer and the seizing of 21 guns that were locked in 2 safes. Kellhofer refused to open the safes for officers, so the fire department had to crack them open, according to police. Thousands of rounds of ammunition were also found, and police said they found a significant marijuana grow operation in the suspect's home. There were 85 plants and more than 500 grams of harvested marijuana. There was also a number of steroids, HGH, and Xanax, according to police. And in other news today, New Canaan police arrested 2 youths Friday evening, January 21st, in connection with a party on Indian Rock Road. Police had received a report from an anonymous complainant that an underage youth alcohol party was occurring on the property. According to police, officers who arrived at the scene shortly after 8 o'clock discovered a large group of young people in a barn on the property in the presence of a large amount of alcohol. 18-year-old Victoria Worcester of Indian Rock Road was charged with allowing a minor to possess alcohol, failure to halt possession of alcohol by a minor. A 17-year-old juvenile was charged with possession of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia. Both were released with dates to appear in court later. Police say the investigation of the youth party is ongoing and may lead to additional arrests or invitations to attend a new diversionary program, which is designed to give other young people who were present at the party a choice of either attending a substance abuse educational program with their parents or facing possible charges. But for updates on that story, check ncadvertiser.com. And in Darien, the Board of Selectmen will consider the donation of scoreboards for the 3 Little League baseball and softball fields at McGuane Park. The donation is being offered by the Darien Little League and the family of former Little League board member Suzanne Stisser. A former Tokenique school teacher, Stisser was the organization's first female board member. She died last month at the age of 63. According to the resolution provided for tonight's Board of Selectmen meeting, the scoreboards will replace the existing ones and will be the same size. The new scoreboards have been valued at over $15,000 and as such cannot be accepted by the Board of Selectmen alone. If approved by the board, the gift would be referred to the representative town meeting for acceptance. You can follow more on that story at DarienTimes.com. But that does it for your in-game news update. For the latest in local news, sports, and more, watch Coffee Break weekdays at 11. This HAN in-game news update was brought to you by the Darien Sports Shop.
Darien Sports Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sports Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at DenaliOutdoor.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities with locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford. Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. The construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back here at the Darien Ice Rink, Rob Adams, Chris Kalen, Frank Granito, 1 in the books, 1-0 our score. We watch the Zamboni doing his thing, and Frank is ice side with a 1-0 game. What are your thoughts here in the first intermission?
Well, Darien controlled the pace of play for about the first 10 minutes of that period. You have the 2 penalties, and the 5-on-3 is really where momentum swung. But what Darien needs to do now is get back to dumping the puck in deep and applying pressure on the forecheck. Send one guy in hard, chase behind the net, and collapse and trap at your own blue line. If you're Fairfield and you can score on this upcoming power play right here, I don't think there are many people in the state who would have thought it would be 2-0 to start this game in their favor.
Here's what I would ask you, Frank. Does Fairfield skating 3 lines to Darien's 4, does that hurt them in the long run?
It may, but right now it's tough to tell. I think they did a very good job of having quick shifts, and especially when you get to the high school level, you can teach a team to be very disciplined with 45-second shifts and get off. And if you're rolling 3 lines doing that, you can have a lot of success. Darien mixing in their 4th line will definitely pay off in the long run. But again, right now, I mean, and I was one of those fans too who thought that Fairfield would not have a chance. Fairfield is skating with Darien every bit of the way.
And the one thing I could say too is Darien, for their part, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind they can do it. They've demonstrated they can kill off the power play. But this minute 43, they definitely have to kill and reclaim momentum.
And you know, Kato, the first penalty we saw before the 5-on-3, Darien had a successful kill, literally dumping it down, and they were applying strong with 1, even in the man down situation. I think their best bet is to use their depth up front to pressure the less experienced defense of Fairfield, would be the right term.
Absolutely.
Coaches return to both benches, and now out come the Blue Wave. A 1-0 lead. Jake Fuss with the goal at 12:10 of the first period. Jack McCormick got the assist. It was a power play goal. Penalties all in favor of Fairfield, putting Darien on in the sin bin 4 times, including Herbie Hazelton, who will skate back over with a minute 43 remaining on that cross-check.
And for Darien in this period, just play smarter. Go back to what you're doing. Seal off the neutral zone and just get on the forecheck. If they can do that, I think they can quickly reclaim momentum in this game.
You get a look at David Voigt. He gets ready to settle in front of his net down to the far side of the rink. Mike Grace will now be right down below us. Again, they skate from bottom to top and top to bottom, that's the perspective we get here at the Darien Ice Rink. You can kind of see, if you look to the left side of your screen, there really is no legitimate spot in there for what you would call a media setup. You know, there are other places we can work from the stands. We've done it in Shelton. We've done it in basketball arenas as well. So there are places you can work among the crowd. It's just not conducive here in Darien.
No, you're right. And the one thing, you know, what Frank had gotten to earlier is, you know, Fairfield rotating the 3 lines. You and I talked about it with our old friend Johnny Spang. Having that 4th effective line out there, it makes a difference later in the game because it gives those 1 and 2 scoring lines more rest. And it allows, you know, so much to kill time. You don't expect scoring out of those bottom 2 lines, but if they can give you quality minutes and keep the other team off the board, it helps in the long run for those top 2 scoring lines.
Down into the left circle it goes. Now the Blue Wave will bring it back to Beredinas across the line. Pushed on net, and the blocker save made by Solger out of the high slot. 14:29 to go. Second period, 1:13 to go on the man advantage. 1-0 the score.
And Rob, it might be a little easier for you to see now, but how big is Mike Grace standing in that net?
He's a large young man for sure, and the face-off will come to his right.
It is a big body that clogs the net. In order to score in him, what you have to do is you got to get him out of position. You got a lot of puck movement and maybe even some screening, definitely screening, to try to keep him from seeing the puck.
Kevin Boldragini for the draw for Fairfield as it comes down and behind the net. Now corralled back behind the net by Fuss, takes a look, and he will start working his way back from bottom to top. Bounces off the boards, played back to center, and whistled down. You mentioned John Spang. That was my first hockey broadcasting partner way back in the year of our Lord, 1999. John and I worked on WGCH for many years. Taken back by Fairfield. They're still on the power play. 40 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Cross ice it goes, just across the line. Fuss throws it down the right side boards. It'll whistle around and be taken by Scott Voigt over in the right corner. 29 to go on the power play for Fairfield. They lead 1-0 with 1:20 gone by in the period. Coming loose into the slot, but it's Blue Waves sticking around, if you can make that somehow plural. Taken back by the Wave, and Charlie Pippert will send down into the Wave zone. It'll go behind the cage with 12 to go on a very unexciting power play for the Mustangs. And the Blue Wave, shorthanded, will bring it cross ice down to 4-3. Romine plays it. It's loose behind the net of Grace, and we skate at even strength. Romine collects it at the blue line, down into the Fairfield zone. Goes behind the net to the left wing boards. Over there was Riley Mullen for the Blue Wave, held in at the point by Harry Congdon. Whistled around to the right wing boards now. Over there is Mullen, collected once again by Tiger Armas of Fairfield. Back to grab it in the neutral zone is Sam Knowlton. Knowlton brings it across the Fairfield line, gets in alone. The kick save made, and then scooped out of the air by Grace. Grace showing the grace. Still 1-0.
Unbelievable stick handling by Knowlton, getting the puck to the net. But then it's the concentration. Back there by Grace. Doesn't give up, doesn't move, doesn't panic, just stays relaxed and finds the puck in the air and snags it with the glove.
Face-off went off to his right in a 1-0 game, played back into the neutral zone. Now across the line is Scott Voigt. Voigt sends it up over the net, rode the boards for a moment, comes back down into the right corner. Behind the net it goes, sent around and taken back but redirected. Here's Brown. Brown into the left circle. Solger, the backhander, sent down into the left corner now. Along comes DeBeredinas, cross ice, sent wide. Now grabbed. DeBeredinas threw it to Brown. Brown was in the slot, side at the hash marks, and they'll get it back out to center. And Anthony Beccaria on the junior for Fairfield. 3 minutes gone here. Second period, 1-0. Fairfield on top. The Jake Fuss goal holding on so far. But here's the tie. Brown to tie it up.
And that all starts at the other end in the neutral zone. A poor change there by Fairfield. Screws them up in transition and allows Darien to go off the other way. And the Fairfield coaches are livid on the bench right now with guys gliding over for the change.
And Darien gets a much-needed boost. They reclaimed the momentum after that power play. They actually reclaimed it during the power play with the pressure they were able to get in the offensive zone. And then now they just seem to now they've taken over. They're throwing the body, and they're starting to put more and more pressure on the Mustangs.
So we're tied at 1, the goal coming at 3:07. Down into the right corner it goes. Here's Jake Kirby. Kirby feeds it out to center. Down the left side goes Collins. Collins into the left corner in the Fairfield zone. Back behind the net. Now the big blast deflected off a body and spun right back around and out the center again. Lifted across the line. Just playing keep away. Pretty playing by Glassmeyer, almost like Tiger Woods playing the ball off his golf club.
And Rob, that goal is going to be by Benjamin Brown, and the assist will go to Owen Collins for the Wave.
So indeed, as it's loose, now it comes over with Riley Mullen. Brown from Collins at 3:07. Back out and across the line, here's McCormick. McCormick with the backhander. Into the left corner it goes. Second period tied at 1, 10:44 to go. Now into the slot it goes, thrown on net and deflected off into the corner. Kept in at the right point. That's loose again, and they score! Fairfield able to answer 2-1.
Rob, that's the only shot Fairfield has taken in this period, and they were able to put it in net. Excellent work by Darien, by Fairfield, preventing Darien from clearing the puck and then going right back to the net with it.
And it was very similar to their first goal. Traffic in front, it got redirected, and it was able to get by Voigt. Big momentum turn for the Mustangs.
Hard to keep them all straight. Mustangs, Falcons, Blue Wave. We'll get the announcement in a moment. 10:35 to go second period, and the Falcons back on top, 2-1. They'll get across the line, go down the right wing with Gazzetta. Now trying to keep it in at the right point, pushed ahead, and it'll go down that right side. Scott Voigt will go grab it. Goes cross ice for the Blue Wave, plays it back to Kirby, who backhands it out of the zone, turned right back by Gazzetta, and down the line it goes. Now on net, held on to by Voigt. Frank's back. What do you have?
So the last goal will be scored by McCormick, who started the play in the corner. Great job by him. Ziegler, number 18, and number 24, Gareth Gazzetta, pick up the assists.
All right, and all that coming at 4:25.
Puck deflected out of the zone. We're going to get it face-off to the right of David Voigt. To the left of David Voigt, I'm sorry.
McCormick from Ziegler and Gazzetta, as I said, at 4:25. And it's a 2-1 game with 10:07 to go in the second period. Face off to the left side of Voigt, as Cato was alluding to. Goes behind the boards. Played there by Congdon, the defenseman for the Blue Wave. They'll start back out, moving from top to bottom. Little life here in a 2-1 game. Blue says it goes and comes over to the near corner. That got blasted on net out of the right circle.
That was just an inadvertent whistle by the official. He thought Grace had caught the puck and just blew the whistle. He's apologizing to the coach for doing it. He didn't mean to blow the whistle. I think he jumped the gun on blowing the whistle.
A reflex for sure.
Absolutely. Puck was right on net. It was a great deflection.
This flutter bombs and lands to Grace. 9:50 to go, second period, 2-1.
Grace himself has had an active period. He's got 6 saves on the period, 7 shots for Darien.
Solger for the draw with Boldragini. Goes into the right corner. Played there. Solger on. Solger goes and grabs it. Takes a look. Fans on the first pass. Brings it across. Comes behind the net. DeBerardinis on there. Into the left corner it goes. Played over there by Calvin Sharp, the junior for Fairfield. Now they bring it back with a head of steam. Beccaria right circle. Goes behind the net off to the left corner. 9:27 to go. A spirited second period. Here's a one-time blast on net. And Voigt holds on.
Fairfield in the last minute or so been able to get a lot of pressure on Darien. Aside from the exit out here into the zone, they've really done a great job getting shots to the goal.
Off the face-off to the left side of Voigt. There's Fuss. Fuss trying to poke it home, and it is loose. Goes off to his left. Rattles around to the right boards. Played back there and held at the point, but came out of the zone, so it's get blasted down by Rutger Gallard, the sophomore for Fairfield. They're coached by Mark Petterini. Kevin Keating and John Landino are the assistants. For the Blue Wave, it's Mac Budd as it goes behind the net and played back there. Coach Budd, one of those guys who's been really good to the HAN network, and we thank all these coaches and all these administrators, and you think about the athletic directors and all the people and the players of coach. Everybody's been so fun to deal with. 8:38 to go here, second period at the Darien Ice Rink. 2-1 our score. Fairfield on top, a whistle stopping things with 8:32 to go in the period.
On the exit pass, it looks like Scotty Voigt tried to lift the puck out of the zone, threw it up into the ceiling.
So they will bring the face-off back.
And for Darien so far, I think they're having a difficult time. I think Fairfield's kind of figured out their neutral zone play, and Darien's trying to find another way to neutralize them and keep the puck and try to get the puck out of the zone and keep it deep.
Kirby plays it back to center. Now across the line, Collins, and the whistle stops us again. 8:22 to go, second period.
Looks like we're going to have a cross check.
An interference,
or interference. Yeah, interference. Sorry, Rob.
And I believe for the first time tonight, it's going to be Calvin Sharp going off for Fairfield.
It is Calvin Sharp, and he'll go for interference. Blue Wave, like you were talking about, Cato, trying something new through the Hail Mary flip pass out to center ice, and instead of allowing the breakaway, Sharp had to interfere with Collins, who was shrieking down the middle.
So off for the minor, and the first time the Blue Wave will have the power play, but it's cleared all the way down to David Voigt. 7 seconds gone, on the man advantage, 8:12 to go second period. It's a 2-1 Fairfield lead. Played back out to center. It'll rattle around and get backhanded through the neutral zone. Here's Fuss across the line, shorthanded to the left circle. Just plays keep away and has it roll around the boards. Playing an aggressive shorthanded power play here as the Mustangs feed it across. Fuss in the slot. Got taken off the play. Nice job by Sam Knowlton. Knowlton will go down into his own left corner, feed Riley Mullen, but it'll bounce away and come down, trickling just near the end line. Thrown back along the left boards, Mullen. Mullen at the hash marks. Knowlton just across the line, and out here comes Fuss. Fuss in a 1-on-2 with a head of steam. Gets across the line, stops at the right circle, leaves it behind in the slot. It's loose, goes down into the left corner. Had McCormick back behind him. 59 seconds gone here on this power play, which has looked very sharp in terms of the penalty kill for Fairfield. 7:15 to go second period. Mustangs up 2-1. Pass back out to center to Berardinis. Now Kirby across the line into the zone. Had it deflected off the body, loose. Grace able to make the save off his body and out of the zone again. It was on the body of Jeremy Ziegler, the senior, there for a moment. Fed back down into the Mustang zone. Down into the corner comes Glassmeyer. Eddie Glassmeyer out of the left corner, now to the left side boards. Playing it back with DeBerardinis, just across the line, Knowlton. Knowlton feeds the hash marks for DeBerardinis. Now back to Glassmeyer, left point, held on there, through traffic and loose, and thrown back off to the right side of Grace. 10 to go on the power play. All of a sudden, the Blue Wave picking up steam here on the power play. To the side of the right circle at the hash mark, Scott Voigt there. Down to 1. Power play expires. Even strength. Through traffic. It's loose. Backhander. Saved and covered by Grace. DeBerardinis had the best look at it, but we stay at 2-1 with 6:16 to play in the second.
A sprawling Grace in front of the net kind of prevents the rebound shot, the rebound second chance for Darien, and keeping them out of the net.
And the official had a few words for him. Grace, that is. Face-off will be to his right. Grace has got to get back in front of his own cage. For the draw is Tiger Armas for Fairfield. Off into the right corner it goes, side of the right circle. Sulger there for the Blue Wave. Now taken and cleared back out by Beccaria for the Mustangs. They'll send it down. It goes into the right corner. Pinballs around over there. Under 6 to go, second period. This is a terrific game so far as Fairfield looking for a third goal. It's 2-1 right now. The Blue Wave will bring it back though. Here's DeBerardinis who blasts it. It goes into the body of a Mustang and then held on to by Grace. Calvin Sharp was that Mustang who deflected the shot.
Great concentration by Grace, just staying within himself, not moving, not panicking. Hangs back between the pipes, lets the puck come to him.
Face-off will be to the left side as you get a look at the crowd. They're having a good time over there. Some of the what you would call home stands have filled in ever so slightly, but it's not a student cheering section tonight. Nonetheless, it's a nice crowd with many standing around the perimeter, actually right down below our perspective here. Here are the Blue Wave chipping it through. It's loose and trying to climb the ladder and held on to by Grace. The best look came for Riley Mullen that time as they attacked with Herbie Hazelton and Max Romine as well. 5:28 to go second period, 2-1 Fairfield.
Darien in the last few minutes getting some good pressure in on Fairfield, really making Grace work. What they have to do now is to get in their offensive zone sets and get the forecheck working.
Fuss and Romine for the draw to the right side of Grace, who's been terrific. Held in at the left point. It'll trickle down into the left corner. On comes Gallard for the Mustangs. Now it's Mullen on net blocker save by Grace. Another try from Mullen and swatted all the way down. A good icing by Ziegler with 5:09 to go in the second of a 2-1 game.
We talk about the success that Grace has had this year. Fairfield as a team has only given up 19 goals. That's just under 2 goals a game this season, and they've only allowed more than 3 goals in 3 of their 11 games so far this year.
Now it's Glassmeyer and Fuss for the draw to the right side of Grace. Put down and controlled by the Mustangs with the face-off win. Bouncing around the boards, kept alive. Collins there, trickled along, played at the top of the right circle. Fuss trying to get that head of steam to steal it away, but back to play it are the Blue Wave. It'll be taken down the left side by Gazzetta into the left corner. 4:47 to go second period. 2-1 our score. Fairfield on top of Darien here on a Monday night on the HAN Network at the Darien Ice Rink. Puck goes behind the net of David Voigt, played back out of the zone and thrown into the Fairfield zone, and an icing called here with 4.5 to go in the second.
That's another icing call Darien really didn't have to have. It's just a matter of not knowing where exactly you are. And it looked like on the clear, it looked like Sammy Knowlton just turned around and threw it out of the zone. If he had realized all he had to do was move 5 feet, he could have moved it and gotten the change that they wanted.
Pushed down the left side into the Mustang zone again. This will be icing. .427 to go, second period, 2-1 the score.
And it's been a busy second period for Darien. 13 shots on goal so far, and we still have another 4 minutes and 27 seconds left.
Face off to the left side of Voigt, will roll around to the left side boards, checking over there. Fairfield crowd loves that. It'll come back down into the Mustang zone, turned over, put on net. Grace will hold on from the wrister at the top of the left circle.
I think what Darien's got back to and why we've seen them get a little bit more on the attack here is they're really pressuring the Fairfield defense. We saw right there almost a costly turnover, unable to clear the puck in transition. Darien comes with a shot and another big save by Grace.
Face off to the right side of Grace. Fuss and Sulger for the draw, and it's Fuss who comes away with it. Feeds it back out to McCormick. McCormick with the blast just inside the blue line. Goes to grab it with Knowlton alongside of him and Brown down in the left corner. 2 Wave down there along with 1 Mustang. They'll spin it back, and here come the Wave. Getting it back to neutral zone ice. They bring it across the line. Solger leaves it behind on net and held on to by Grace.
And the thing for Darien, they're getting great looks at the net. They're getting great shots on goal. But the problem is Mike Grace, if you're going to take a long-distance shot at him, he's more than capable of handling it, and it's a big body clogging that net. You really need to get puck movement.
On net it goes, a couple of tries, and now a little pushing and shoving. They'll break that up. It was going to be Hazelton and McCormick, but they quickly realized Grace had the puck, and let's call it a day right there. 3:43 to go second period, 2-1 game.
Nice rush for Darien. They get 3 shots on goal in that little bit of time.
And Cato, you were talking about how to get goals against a bigger goalie like this. If you have that 3-on-2 opportunity, send one down at his pads. Try to get a rebound for the other players who are crashing into the net.
And a tripping call comes up here with 3:40 to go in the second period. in a 2-1 game.
And it's Kevin Boulder-Heaney going off for 2 minutes for the tripping. Excellent opportunity here for Darien to tie this game.
So the trip comes at 11:20. Face off to the right side of Grace. He's ready in front of his net. Put on net. Oh, chipped aside, deflected, and it went wide. Bottom of the left circle, held in at the point. Oh, through traffic and bounces right down to Grace. He holds on. 13 seconds gone on the advantage. 3:27 remaining in the second. Still 2-1. Fairfield on top. Fuss and Romine for the draw.
Well, if you're Mike Grace and you thought you were going to have a slow night, you lost.
Just across the line, held in, left point, through traffic, Romine pushed aside. It'll come off into the corner and back out of the zone it goes. Knowlton will cycle around, now Mullen. Riley Mullen through the neutral zone, pushed it ahead to Kirby, turned it over. Waiting there was McCormick. Back across the line, into the left circle. Mullen will slow things down. 1:20 remaining on the power play. Through traffic, the save made. The blocker save initially. Now covered up. The puck was still alive, but when it disappears from the view of the officials, they got to blow the whistle. They couldn't see that Grace didn't have it. Then Grace was able to cover up.
And it's very clear to see the strategy behind this power play right now is let Knowlton unload from the point with as much traffic in front as possible.
That's your best shot. He's the big gun for Darien. Get it in there, get it through, and then get bodies. So you got to attack the net and try to get the rebound shot.
Armis and Romine for the draw to the right side of Mike Grace. Controlled by the Blue Wave, there is Knowlton. Feeds Mullen at the hash marks, comes back out. Knowlton through traffic, the puck loose and cleared aside. What a job by Charlie Pippert behind the net. Grace made the initial save, but Pippert was the hero. Romine fans on the initial try, brings it back behind the net, Kirby. Kirby now to Mullen at the hash marks. At the end line, oh, trying to feed into the crease for Hazelton, and out of the zone it goes. 48 to go. This is a blistering power play. 2:25 to go second period, 2-1 game. Spun back, here come the Blue Wave from top to bottom. They'll feed it back out, across the line Hazelton, right circle on net, and held on to under the pad of Mike Grace.
And Mike Grace on that shot before, knowing that Herbie Hazelton had the shot on him when it came through the crease, knowing he stuck the stick out to try to deflect that puck. He wasn't too quick with it. He missed it. He knew he got away with one.
Fuss and Glassmeyer for the draw to the left side of Grace. 33 remaining on the power play. Knowlton sends it wide off the wrister. Off to the hash marks and cleared all the way down by Fuss. Voigt will leave it aside. Knowlton will go and grab it. Knowlton will start, send it along to Scott Voigt. Voigt looking cross ice. He gets it. That's the Berardinis across the line. Gains the zone in the circle, and the blocker save made by Grace. Heading down into the corner. Voigt back to Berardinis near the hash marks. Sends it back up top into the left circle. Over there, Knowlton. Knowlton on net, and he scores! A power play goal for Sam Knowlton knots us at 2.
And Sammy Knowlton gets in front of the net, gets set up, gets himself set, takes the pass in, and just deflects it. Right, it looked like it kind of went over that right arm of Mike Grace. And it's just the pressure that Darien put on this power play finally bears fruit.
And the Blue Wave 1 out of 2 on the extra man. 2-2 the score, 1:39 to go in the second period. Frank will step out and get us all the official information. Off the face-off, trying to get it across the line. Now Fuss will chip it along, and the Mustangs will take it back into their own zone. Clearing it back out with Calvin Sharp. Along the boards in front of the benches, Sharp there, and an offside whistled with 1:21 to go in the second period. Frank.
It's going to be Knowlton from Voigt, and that'll be the only assist. But a great adjustment as Fairfield went to a diamond about halfway through that power play to rob Knowlton of the shot from the top. They put him over to the left side of the umbrella, and he's able to get an open shot.
Down the left side it goes. It'll go behind the net, sent around the boards at the hash marks at the right circle, back out from top to bottom. They'll send it down, will the Blue Wave. It'll rattle around the boards and head toward the right corner. Brown over there. He'll be joined by Berardinis. Heading into that right corner to make that Solger, my mistake. Solger on there, now Fuss. They clear it back to center. Reaching for it was Congdon. And it'll be taken by the Blue Wave and sent down and whistled around the boards.
What's up, man?
Pippert back out to center. And across the line come the Mustangs into their own zone. They'll play it there with Sharp. Calvin Sharp along the left wing boards gets double teamed over there, pushed down by Glassmeyer. It'll come down behind the net with 27 to go in the period. Now held in, just pushed aside as it got knocked away into the right corner. In that right corner, along comes Glassmeyer. Now Fuss for Fairfield gets it ahead, and they'll clear it out of the zone with Gazzetta. Sent across the line by McCormick. It'll pinball around with under 9 to go in the second period. Now we're down to 5 in a 2-2 game. No icing with 2 and 1, and the period comes to an end. We play to even after 2, Cato. Deuce is wild. 2-2 the score.
And let's put it this way. If you don't think this period was all Darien, let me explain it to you. Darien had 27 shots on goal in this period. All right? Mike Grace, 25 saves. Fairfield had 4 shots in this period, and I don't think they had a shot since the 8-minute mark.
So you're saying 27-4, they outshot him in the second period?
Absolutely.
2-period total of?
With a 2-period total of, Darien's got 31 shots on goal through 2 periods. Fairfield, 13.
So 9-4 shots in the first period and 27-4 in the second.
Yes.
Just doing my math. Wow. Frank, that's some second period we saw.
Well, that's just the power of the Darien attack. It's what makes them such a strong team and a tough team to play against. And then if you factor in that they get onto the power play, that's where they can really do the damage. But if you're a Fairfield, you came into this game knowing that if you were going to win, Mike Grace is probably going to have to make 40 saves for you.
Outstanding second period with goals scored by Brown, McCormick, and Knowlton. McCormick did give Fairfield a 2-1 lead for a while. That has evaporated. It is a 2-2 game. That goal, by the way, from Knowlton, the power play had technically expired, so even strength at 13-21, so 0 for 2 on the power play are the Blue Wave. All right, with all the bookkeeping taken care of, we are through 2 at the Darien Ice Rink. 2-2, Fairfield and Darien. Second intermission starts right now. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. My property taxes on my single-family home were close to $20,000 a year. Now that I've downsized and I'm in a townhome, and because of the condo tax laws, my fees have gone from $20,000 down to about $5,300 with the star exemption. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional, personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at DenaliOutdoor.com.
I'm Kate Czaplinski. Join us for Coffee Break weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at the Darien Ice Rink, this game tonight on the HAN Network is brought to you by Carl Chevrolet of New Canaan and by the Darien Sports Shop. Where else? Right here in Darien. And how about Walter Stewart's in New Canaan? Sandwiches there, so good. Your fresh local market. With Chris Callen and Frank Granito, I'm Rob Adams. 2-2 the score. Fairfield and Darien tied up. Cato, I was thumbing through the Darien Times, and our good friend, of course, Susan Schultz is the editor, but her reporter Kevin Webb has a story where the Board of Selectmen tonight are considering the donation of scoreboards for the 3 Little League baseball and softball fields at, as you said, McGuan Park?
Yes.
Okay. The donation is being offered by the Darien Little League and the family of former Little League board member, Suzanne Stisser, and I'm reading this from Kevin Webb. Of course, she was a former Tokenique school teacher. She was the organization's first female board member and passed away last month at the age of 63. Susan did just an outstanding, touching story about it in the Darien Times and about her passing. She's talked at great length with Suzanne Stisser's family. According to the resolution provided for tonight's Board of Selectmen meeting, the scoreboards will replace the existing ones and will be the same size. Again, reading from Kevin Webb in the Darien Times. The new scoreboards have been valued at $15,300 and as such cannot be accepted by the Board of Selectmen alone. If approved by the board, the gift would be referred to the representative town meeting for acceptance. I'm no politician, I'm no genius, but I can say it is a no-brainer.
You say it is a no-brainer, but they've been trying to get lights, too, for years, too.
Well, it just seems like, especially in honor of Mrs. Stisser, who was so important to Darien in so many ways, it makes sense to donate scoreboards in her honor. And let's face it, that's good stuff. And you do quite a bit with Little League baseball, so you know how this is.
No, I've worked those fields quite a few times. It's a beautiful facility that Darien Little League has, right over at the top of the hill, right behind. It's actually right behind the Rowan Heights Firehouse. It's just a tremendous facility.
Is that the facility you took me to?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
If Marty's listening, I'm pretty sure he is. We'd like to do some broadcasts from there because it provides an excellent venue. And
it does. Yes.
It gives us great. It gives us great position to view 2 games at once, but for broadcast purposes, it gives you great sight lines.
It is a very attractive place to go check out Little League Baseball, which, of course, I'm a huge proponent of as well. So, we can kind of take our journalist hat off and say, pass the opinion on. But, again, it just seems like, I don't know. Seems like it'd be a nice thing to do. Put a couple of scoreboards up in honor of a nice lady.
It would be. It would be tremendous because the scoreboards they have, they're a little outdated. And knowing now that Little League has gone to the pitch count format for their pitchers, it would be nice to have the pitch count on the scoreboards. So it's much easier for both coaches to make their decisions as far as how they want to handle their pitchers, and when they have to go get their pitchers, whether or not they want, just how to manage the team.
Just goes to show how time has moved on. I played 11 years of, Mayapack Sports Association baseball, and never once a working scoreboard in 11 years. So, it's nice that the kids have these modern conveniences now. It's fun.
No, we had a working scoreboard if you could find someone to go up and hang the numbers. But
we didn't even have that.
There were no balls and strikes.
2-2 our score. Jake Fuss started the scoring, 12-10 of the first. From McCormick, that made it 1-0. That was a power play goal. Darien responded at 3:07 of the second. Collins the assist, Brown the goal. It was 1-1 there. McCormick got his own goal for Fairfield just a minute 18 later at 4:25 as Ziegler and Gazzetta got the assists, and it was a 2-1 game for Fairfield. However, Sam Knowlton, just as the power play expired at 13:21 from Scott Voigt, and that's where we are, knotted at 2. Frank, is there any advantage right now?
I think that momentum might be shifted a little bit towards Darien. They finished the period really strong. They were on the attack quite a bit. But if you're Fairfield, you're really just playing off of Mike Grace right now and how spectacular he was in that second period. He gave it 2 goals, really is not a big deal when you think about it. You're going into the third period 0-0 with the defending state and FCIAC champ.
Cato.
I mean, for Darien, you've pretty much reclaimed momentum in this game. You outscored Fairfield by a ridiculous amount in the second period. You've established your forecheck. You've gained momentum. I think what you have to do is just try to keep Fairfield at bay. You're going to get opportunities to score. It's whether or not you can get the puck past Mike Grace, and you've shown you've got to reach into the pocket of tricks in order to do it.
I don't know if I asked this, but if we can get that crowd shot again of the Fairfield, it's supposed to be a red out, and yet there's one guy there in a Blue Rangers jersey. He didn't get the memo.
He's a nice kid. He's all right.
I'm sure he's a wonderful kid. He's a Rangers fan, but he didn't get the memo. It's a red out.
Yeah, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not completely red over there. There's some gray and black in the mix.
There could be gray and black, but what team wears blue? The Blue Wave. I love the Rangers. You know I love the Rangers.
Frank, just so I get this right, so I'm not hearing wrong, Rob Adams just threw the Fairfield student in the Blue Ranger jersey under the RV.
All I'm saying is, Frank, he didn't get the memo. That's all.
Rob, I'm a huge I'm so on the fence here. I'm so on the fence because I am a huge Rangers fan, and growing up as a New Canaan guy, it was very tough never being able to wear a Rangers jersey to a sporting event. But that being said, they all came here from Fairfield.
They did.
They deserve so much credit. It shouldn't matter what they're wearing right now, and they have been absolutely alive for these first 2 periods.
To your point, the Fairfield cheering section gives Fairfield the crowd advantage here. Third period is underway because it is a really dominant Fairfield crowd tonight as this rolls down into the left corner. Third period underway, 17 seconds gone by. Rob Adams, Chris Kalin, Frank Granito, Frank down ice side, and double duty running a camera for us tonight as well in a 2-2 game. Rattled around to the right wing boards in this 2-2 game. Right now, in a matter of speaking, top seed in the FCIAC on the line, although not something you're going to make a whole lot of with still a few weeks of February to play, this only being February 1st and offside the call.
That's a good point that you won't make a lot of it with a lot of games left to play, Rob. But the difference between being the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed is having to play either Greenwich, Darien, or Fairfield right now in the semifinals.
That is exactly right. And that is a huge difference, but still, we've got a few weeks of hockey to be played, and Fairfield will see Greenwich almost immediately following this game. Here's Glassmeyer across the Fairfield line, goes down into the right circle. He's got Kirby trailing him, Knowlton back at the right point. Here come the Mustangs, though. They fan on the pass across, so it'll be taken back by Hunter Hazelton. Hazelton will redirect it and push it back out to center. Waiting there to spin around is Gallard. This is one of those games as it goes down into the corner. I think it just has the feeling of the type of game as Knowlton will go and grab it at the hash marks, thrown down by Kirby. It'll go behind the net with Glassmeyer in the Fairfield zone. It just feels like the type of game in which crowd, players, broadcasters, coaches will all be exhausted when it's over. Hunter Hazelton bounces it off the boards back out to center. I already feel a little worn down. I don't know about you guys. Across the line into the Fairfield zone, 13:35 to go in regulation of a 2-2 game. Waiting now to Berardinis, but taken away from him by Sam Shepard, the sophomore for Fairfield. Mark Petterini, their head coach, in a 2-2 game. Mac Budd and Darien across the way. It's been a solid one, bouncing off the boards and across the line. Of course, benches to our perspective right, and that's not always a consistent thing. Salger sends down into the right corner. For instance, when we get to Terry Connors in a couple of weeks, the benches are on opposite sides. Pushed along to the right hash marks. Out of that right circle, goes around the boards, and will almost live at the Connors rink for several days in late February and early March.
Yeah, but is there a better venue in all of Connecticut to play the FCIAC championship?
I love it. It is a great place. I don't think there's any debate about that. Across the line come the Mustangs. Top of the right circle. They feed it across. Well, the Blue Wave, and the Blue Wave will play it out to center. I can think of very few places I would prefer, and I wouldn't even know if prefer is the right word. It wouldn't have the crowd because, it's a different kind of perspective, but I will say the Webster Bank Arena, awfully inviting. Waiting at center ice, they'll bring it down on net and off to the side of Mike Grace. In the third period, 12:15 to go of a 2-2 game. Goes behind the net, now at the left point, wristed through traffic, and Grace will hold on. But if you can't put it in the 10,000-seat Webster Bank Arena, I think Terry Connors is a very suitable home for the FCIAC championship.
Oh, and Terry Connors has got that low ceiling. It's loud. The sound holds. It doesn't radiate out. It doesn't leave through the ceiling. That low roof, it holds the sound very nicely.
And it's the low roof combined with the seating being above the glass, so it echoes down onto the ice versus going into the glass and rising up.
In the left circle, thrown back at Grace, looking for it. Sprawling is Grace. He's got to get back up. He does. 2-2 game and cleared back out of the zone. Across the line into the Darien zone. Knowlton almost lost his skate. Thrown back out to center. Riley Mullen waits there. Went cross ice. Finds Hazelton left circle. Hazelton on net. Grace holds on. 11:35 to go. It's a 2-2 game.
Great cross ice pass to Hazelton. He gets the position, tries to get the backhand, just can't get the elevation on the puck that he wanted.
Face-off will come to the right side of senior netminder Mike Grace, who's playing like he's the best goalie in the FCIAC tonight. He has been outstanding. Of course, David Voigt would argue that as well as he should. Held in at the right point. It's loose. Glassmeyer, another try. A couple of more saves made by Grace. Around to the right wing boards it goes. Waiting there, Congdon from the right point and back out to center. Bouncing off the boards across the line. Here's Fuss. Fuss through defenders. He loses the handle on it. Held in at the right point. Fuss will go grab it back behind the net. Jake Fuss feeds into the right circle. Through traffic. It's loose there. Chipping at it. It's grabbed Gazzetta. Now cleared all the way out to center. So they'll spin it around. Bring it back across the line. Fairfield sent well wide, bouncing and pinballing back around into the left circle. Dangerous puck there. Gazzetta comes along. Sulger as well as Congdon for the Blue Wave. Back out to center. Owen Collins gains the zone, sends it down, pushed aside off the stick of Mike Grace. 10.5 to go, third period. Fairfield and Darien giving us a show. It's 2-2. Into the right corner, and you got to call something there. Not loving it are folks here in Darien, a 2-2 game, and the whistle sending somebody off.
And the horn. And it looks like it's going to be...
Is that Sulger?
It's either Sulger or Connor McCarthy.
I think it's 25.
He could be 25 because I don't think the sophomore defenseman is playing.
So Sulger off. That comes at 4:33.
and it's going to be a 2-minute penalty for roughing. So a bullet dodge there, as they might have been able to call a major for boarding from behind.
I thought the same thing, but I thought they did a good job of keeping it under control. Fuss and Glassmeyer for the draw. 1 out of 4 Fairfield on the power play tonight. Into the right corner. 10 seconds gone on it. Big opportunity here as it's whistled back out of the zone. So collected by the Mustangs. They'll go cross ice. Play it cross ice once again as it bounces off the boards. They'll play that game of catch, and they'll try to get it back into the Darien zone. So there it is. Rattles around into the left corner. Knowlton there for the Blue Wave. Collected, though, by Fairfield. At the hash marks, they take a look in the left circle. Back behind the net it goes. Into the corner for McCormick. 45 gone on the advantage. Held in at the right point by the Mustangs. That's loose, and Glassmeyer able to clear it.
Nice work by Darien in the first minute of this power play. Not overcommitting to the puck, just staying in your position and just cutting off the passing lanes.
Knowlton able to clear it, got away from the hand of Carson Rush. So back to play it with 50 remaining on the power play. It's the Blue Wave able to take it. Scott Voigt in his own zone. He'll whistle it down. Bounces around. Hits off the referee. Cross ice comes Fairfield. Still playing it in their own zone. Not a very sharp power play so far, but credit to the Blue Wave. Half minute remaining on this power play with under 9 to go. It's a 2-2 game, Darien and Fairfield. Across the line, Fuss. Kicks up the snow as he puts on the brakes. Goes into the right corner. Hit there on Rush. And it goes all the way back out. That was Scott Voigt hitting on Carson Rush. Down to 10 to go on this power play. And again, more credit to Darien because it's their defense and their penalty kill that's done the sharp job here. De Berardinis across the line. Backhands across toward Brown. It wasn't there. Down into the left corner. Penalty expires with 8:22 to go in regulation. It's a 2-2 game. Nudged away. It's pushed back by Sulger, now Brown, and across the line. Corralled by Gallard for Fairfield. They'll get it out of the zone, or at least they think they will. Now they do. They'll touch up, will the Blue Wave, but it'll be taken away by Armas for Fairfield. 8 minutes to go in regulation. It's a 2-2 tie. Now back to play it is Hunter Hazelton. Hazelton feeds it ahead to De Berardinis. Back to Knowlton. Knowlton, who tied it up with a goal before. Chipped along, and he scores!
Frank had a great view of it. From what it sounded like he went off the right post and squeezed it through.
Well, he did beat him on the short side. I wasn't sure if it caught a piece of the post or not, but what a nasty toe drag right in the slot, especially from the senior defenseman, showing off the hands and then the ability to finish, and the Blue Wave are back on top 3-2.
Yeah, I was going to say, Frank, I thought I heard a ping from the post, but I could be wrong.
Sure sounded like it. Frank will step away and get the bookkeeping. It's a 3-2 game for Darien, 7:45 to go in regulation. Now time to check and see what kind of medal Fairfield has got. Frank.
It was Knowlton from Brown who picks up his second point of the night.
7.5 remaining in a 3-2 game. Fairfield gets it out of the zone. Backhands it across the line. Waiting there was Congdon. He clears back to center. Directing traffic off to the right. It'll be controlled by Fairfield to our left in the neutral zone. Across the line it goes and collected back by the Blue Wave. They'll send it down and a whistle, and looks like an offside. 7:05 to go, 3-2 Darien.
In looking at this pressure that Darien has been able to put on, Fairfield has not attempted a shot in this period in 7 minutes.
As you're looking at it again, this was the goal to tie it up. You see Knowlton working it across the line, and just out of the circle and then the wrister. Ping and goal, 3-2. Off into the right circle it goes, 6:55 to play in regulation. Goes behind the net. Played back there, the Mustangs chipping at it, chopping at it. Knowlton waits, he grabs it just beyond the right point. Nudged across, through traffic it goes well wide. The wrister coming from McCarthy. Back out to center, now into the neutral zone, cross ice and across the line. Into the right circle. Keegan O'Reilly looks to set it up out in front, but turned over and then taken back. Owen Collins for the Blue Wave. He steps across the Fairfield line. Kirby down into the left corner. Solger will start playing street here. Back comes Fairfield. On net, kick save made by Voigt. Off to his left. Held in, trickled down, and held on to in the glove of Voigt. And then swiping at it was Beccaria.
That short span of attack there, it's actually Fairfield's first offensive output of any kind, any attempt, in over 10 minutes, almost over 15 minutes.
Off the face-off. Now to the left wing boards and out of the zone across the line. Down goes Hazelton. Hazelton pushing it on net. Grace the save. 6 minutes to go, 3-2, Darien.
And this is where it gets so tough to play against a Darien team. With 6 minutes left, you're trailing, and they do just an unbelievable job of not allowing you to set up your attack and gain their zone.
Face off to the left side of Mike Grace. Along those right wing boards, out to the neutral zone it comes. Played along. Put down. Low! Just set up out in front for Gazzetta. Trying to take the feed and tie it up from Fuss. Twisted back is Congdon. Plays it out with Hazelton. Hazelton down the right side. He's got Mullen behind him. Working it out in front. Sprawling along is Grace. 5.5 to play in a 3-2 game. Down into the right corner. Bouncing off the boards, held in right point. It's loose, and Grace will cover with 5:23 to go.
And you see where having that extra line is going to work to Darien's advantage, especially here. If you're Fairfield, you need to really work your 1 and 2 lines to try to get any kind of offensive pressure. But for Darien, it's just that much easier for them to keep rotating guys out.
3-2 game. Darien on top. This is their first lead of the night. Back out to center through the neutral zone. Chipped along and behind the net. Grace will leave it aside. Played off into the left corner. Big hit along those left boards. Down into the left corner now. Back behind the net. Brown there for the Blue Wave. Setting it up out in front. It went through the 5-hole and comes back the other way. Here comes Fairfield across the line. Brown able to clear it. Beccaria waiting there for the Mustangs. Now they'll go cross ice. Pushed along into the Darien zone. Knowlton looks to his right. Bounces off the boards and out of the zone. Glassmeyer has got the Berardinas behind him. Whistles it. Sent down. Blasted aside. Grace there. And 4.5 to go.
Grace just continues to be unbelievable for Fairfield. With just working in the net, moving. And you don't see him coming out from the post too often. He'll sit in there and just make you come to him, and he'll beat you that way.
Face off to the left side of Grace. 4.5 to go. Third period. 3-2 game. Earlier tonight, it was all New Canaan over Ridgefield. This one much more competitive. Girls game earlier tonight, New Canaan picks up another win. Just across the line, oh, that got pushed aside. A little dangerous down into the left corner as it was deflected. In the left corner in the Fairfield zone, here's Fuss in a 1-on-2. On net. Held onto by Voigt. 4:07 to go.
And just before that shot, Jake Fuss had an excellent deflection opportunity. Picks up the puck a little late and deflects it outside away from the net instead of in the way he wanted it.
Face off to the right side with Fuss and Romine. Romine for the Blue Wave, win the draw. Bounces it off the glass to Knowlton and back out of the zone. Riley Mullen with a head of steam goes down into the right circle. Trying to put it on net. Poke it home. Couldn't do it. Grace makes the save into the right corner. Back comes Hazelton. Hazelton on net. And Grace couldn't control it. He scores. It got by him. For a moment, it looked like Grace had made the save. But from the perspective, you could see the players celebrating. Big goal, and it's 4-2.
It looked like on the rebound and the second chance opportunity, it just squirted through Mike Grace.
Yeah, the shot came off the left hash mark from Grace's side, and it just squeaked through the armpit. He got a big piece of it, but not enough, and it slowly rolled over the goal line.
What can Fairfield do with 3:45 remaining? It's a 4-2 game down into the left corner. Romine will play it back there, going into the right corner. Two Mustangs over there. Mullen at the top of the right circle. Gets it back off the feed from Knowlton. Pushed down and coming back out to center. Frank has returned. Frank has the details.
It was Hazelton with the goal and Mullen picking up the assist.
Hazelton from Mullen at 11:06. 4-2 game, 3:13 to go, and time not side of the Mustangs. Here's Fuss. Pushes it back. From top to bottom, Fairfield in the red, white, and black. Darien moves from bottom to top in the white and blue. 2:57 to go, a 4-2 Darien lead. Fairfield led for much of the night, 2-1, until Knowlton tied it at 13:21. Held in at the right point. This will just bounce down, and Grace will hold on to it with 2:43 to go.
And going back to what Cato was saying before, talking about the depth of the team, you get a tired line out there for Fairfield. Guys like Mullen and Hazelton are fresh, and the goal a game line for the Blue Wave does it again.
Face off to the left side of Grace. Goes down into the right corner. Now into the left corner it goes, held in by Scott Voigt. He'll throw it across, just looking for a redirect is Glassmeyer. It'll come out of the zone. 2:22 to go. 4-2 game. Darien leading Fairfield. Playing keep away is Glassmeyer. Trying to play keep away from McCormick. Bounced off the stick of Jake Fuss. Cross ice, back to Congdon. Plays to center, away from Kirby. Kirby collects it and gets it down the right side. 2 minutes to go. Third period, a 4-2 Darien lead. Much of the energy that existed here all night now starting to fade unless the Mustangs can answer.
And Grace is going to the bench now.
1:47 to go. Extra attacker on behind the net. They'll lift it back out. Played back to neutral zone ice. Sent across the line and pushed ahead into the corner. That's where Jake Fuss is. Whistled around the boards. It goes to Baldragini to the side of the right circle and out of the zone. Riley Mullen tries to collect it to end the night. Now it's Hazelton. Hazelton and offside with 1:21 to go. Still 4-2.
Yeah, and Riley Mullen just, when he dumped it off to Hazelton, he lost his balance, fell, and slipped across the blue line just before Hazelton was able to cross and get the rush.
I tell you what, though, I thought he might have been onside. When he dove, I thought his hand was over the line, which would have qualified as being onside.
You think it was a little bit of a quick whistle?
I do. I think it was just a knee-jerk reaction from the ref seeing him dive. And if he was not touching the ice and he was still diving, then it's the right call. But I thought he had his hand down at the time as Fairfield spends their timeout with 1:21 to go.
You get one, you might as well use it.
And regardless of the finish here right now, this is ultimately a win in the book for Fairfield. They have got to take away a lot of positives from this game.
And you look at it, I mean, for Mike Grace, he's got 40 saves. And you still have, what, a minute and a half to go. He's on the bench, so if there's any more shots, he's not going to have the opportunity. But he has 40 saves in this game. And you would think in a game where you had 40 saves, and especially some of the saves he's had, he wouldn't be trailing at this point.
I tell you what, he's a big body. He is one of the better goalies, if not the best goalie in the FCIAC. And I understand that Voigt will make the argument with him. But if he could get hot at the right time as they get into the postseason, it would be a very interesting tournament for Fairfield.
Off the face-off with 1:16 to go. It's a 4-2 Darien lead. Back out the center, sent down the left side. It'll roll back to Mike Grace behind his net with 1:09 to go. The odds very long for Fairfield to pull this off. Turned over, Romine, right circle. Romine sent across, goes behind the net. Under 1 to go in the third. 4-2, Darien on top. Off to the hash marks on the right side. Turned back and twisting around. Fairfield gets it out to center, but they've got a lot of work to do with 48 seconds to go. Dicing and slicing through was Fuss. Now into the right circle, spun back. It'll bounce out with an empty net and 40 seconds to play. Taken there by Charlie Pippert, one of the captains for Fairfield. Down it goes into the left corner, 32 seconds to play in a 4-2 Darien lead. Pushed along, it's in the slot, now into the right circle. In that right circle, and Voigt's going to cover as it comes down to him, 24.4 to go.
Fairfield finally to get some kind of pressure or some kind of shot against Voigt.
In basketball, Greenwich beat Ward. Boys basketball, 70-64. Good win for the Cardinals. Face off to the left side of Voigt when we resume with 24.4 to play. It'll be Glassmeyer and Fuss for the draw. Off the face, off the win to Glassmeyer. This will come down into the Fairfield zone. 18 to go, and the icing whistled.
It's all right for Darien. It gives them a chance to catch their breath, get themselves set. Still a big rush, big flurry, a lot of movement, so you want to take, if you can get an opportunity to catch your breath, it's always good.
Face off to the left side of Voigt. Back behind the net, 18.1 to go. Darien in very good shape to stay perfect in the FCIAC as the Fairfield fans begin to leave in droves. Down to 10, played back to center, Glassmeyer there. And this will go down and wide with 6. Fairfield in no rush with 4. They'll collect it with 2, with 1, and this one is over. And a good win for the Darien Blue Wave. A solid job as they get a 4-2 victory over an extremely game Fairfield Mustang squad. And what a job by Fairfield to hang in there. But look, credit goes to Darien. They stay solid as always. They improve to 11-1 on the year, 6-0 in the FCIAC. For Fairfield, they dropped to 9-2-1 and now 5-1 in the conference. But you have to believe Fairfield has picked up a whole lot of respect tonight.
If anything, what Fairfield has to do is they have to learn from this experience. They had Darien on the ropes, and it was just Darien's pressure, and they had Darien beat. They were beating them through the neutral zone for the first period plus of this game, and then Darien figured it out, reclaimed the neutral zone, and when they reclaimed the neutral zone, that was the game. That was really when Fairfield lost all momentum or any opportunity.
We go down to the ice for a post-game guest. Here is Frank.
Thanks, Rob. We're joined with Sam Knowlton. Sam, congrats on the big win tonight. What was working for you guys?
We got in a little bit of trouble there early on with penalties, but we killed those all off, and after that we just got going on the forecheck in the early second period and kind of grinded it out from there.
You guys look like you had a lot of success on the power play. It's loaded with 5 seniors. How do you guys feel playing with each other right now?
Yeah, I think on the first power play we actually struggled a little bit, but it's proven in the last few games. We scored, I think, 4 or 5 power play goals in the last 2 games, which is really important, and special teams is a huge thing, and I think we were really successful with that tonight.
Mike Grace was unbelievable in net for them tonight. Were you guys at all concerned after that first period having to go up against him?
Yeah, he played unbelievable, but I think we just needed bodies in front and a lot of second chances, and I think we buried a few of those there in the last couple minutes.
This sets you guys up in first place in the FCIAC right now. You'll have to play Greenwich again as a conference game. What do you think about that coming up?
I think they're gunning for us. We obviously beat them last year in the FCIACs and States, and then beat them again this year. So I think they're going to be gunning for us, but it should be a good game and a good FCIAC tournament.
Thanks a lot, Sam. We'll see you soon. Rob, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Frank, as we take it back up here and we get ready to take a timeout and come back and put a wrap on it. Doubleheader action, a long night here at the Darien Ice Rink. And in this second game, the Darien Blue Wave have knocked off the Fairfield Mustangs by a final score of 4-2. Frank Cato and I return to put a ribbon on it right after this. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcast in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at the Darien ice rink, well, the naysayers thought maybe that Fairfield, who is probably the number one team in Division II, was the not ready for primetime players against the big dogs from Darien. Okay, to a certain extent, they're right, as the final score is 4-2. But the doom and gloom who thought that this would be a 7-0 game like we saw earlier tonight, not the case. Not the case at all. 4-2 the final score. Fairfield was very strong, and look, it's the kind of game where they're going to walk out of here saying we can play with them, and maybe we can beat them as well.
But, Rob, honestly, you take a look at it. In the first period, Fairfield hung with them. They outshot Darien 9-4. And then you take it the rest of the way, they got outscored 40.
Or outshot.
Outshot 40-8.
Yes, I agree.
And it's roughly about that 10, I would say not 10, 5:45 mark on in that first period where Darien reclaimed the neutral zone. That would be the way I'd say it.
I don't disagree with any of that, but it was also a 2-1 game until, well, let's see, 13:21 into the second period. Look, bottom line is 4-2 is the final. That's the graphic that's up on the scoreboard. But I do think this is the kind of game that can build some confidence for Fairfield.
Well, the hype is definitely justified, and they proved tonight they can hang with the big boys. But the biggest thing for Fairfield now is they have got a quick turnaround, and they play Greenwich, which is an even more important matchup because that's another West Division team. And if you can beat Greenwich, you recontrol winning the West Division. But Mike Grace was unbelievable tonight, and I really do think that if they get onto a little bit of a run, he could steal a game in the FCIAC tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike Grace, in 2 periods, faced 40 shots. Unfortunately, he couldn't stop 4 of them.
And as much as we want to sing the praises of Fairfield for hanging with them, let's get back to the fact that once again, Darien comes out and proves itself as still the top dog in the FCIAC. They were down, but they're never out, and they always find a way to make the adjustments and bounce back.
And they did it on the fly, and it was very impressive how they did it. They came out, and they really struggled early. They had a hard time getting anything going. Fairfield's speed came out, I think, caught them completely by surprise. And once they settled in and figured out how to match that momentum, and then all 4 lines just started rotating in, and they just started playing, in essence, like the crowd would say if they were here, blue wave hockey.
No, they were strong. It's a lot of senior leadership and a lot of experience being in these games, and that's what Fairfield lacked at times tonight. But a great game, and it really did live up to the hype, and I'm excited to see how both these teams now play moving forward, and they'll both have Greenwich upcoming on the schedule.
Exactly right. In fact, we will have the Greenwich game against Darien on February 15th here at the Darien Ice Rink. That is a 4 o'clock start, so we will look forward to that one. in just now under 2 weeks. And still some work to do for everyone between now and then. I agree with you. I think Darien is the definitive number one at the moment, at least until Darien and Greenwich meet. What does Fairfield do with Greenwich? That's going to be a tough back-to-back for the Mustangs to be able to hang in there with the Blue Wave and the Cardinals as well. That's a lot to ask. So is Fairfield going to wind up being that number 3 team? Is St. Joseph that number 4 team? Or where's Ridgefield in all of this? They're all of a sudden 4-2 in the conference. They're in the mix as well. Where does this all shake out? Staples Weston 3-3, but they are not eligible for FCIAC. I mean, it's all very confusing.
There's a team from across the Merritt Parkway who played Darien to a 4-3 loss the other day, who's starting to find their stride.
They are. They're 4-9 overall, but they're 2-4 in the conference, and they still have some work to do as well. What we're saying is we still have a good 3 weeks of hockey left and a lot of seedings to be figured out.
No, it's going to be an exciting finish down the stretch, and it's going to be a very exciting playoff push and postseason throughout the FCIAC and on to states.
Honestly, you really don't get. You got to feel for how good both of these teams were. Darien showed you that you can knock them down, they get back up. You beat them at their best, they'll figure something else out. And for Fairfield, the one thing everybody else learned. You got a hard time. If you're going to beat Fairfield, you have to beat Mike Grace. If you don't beat Mike Grace, he's going to eat you alive all night long. And you know what? This game without Mike Grace could have easily been 8-2. With some of the saves, the pad saves, and the things that he did. And, it's just that fourth goal was just bad luck. That puck just found a way through under the armpit, like you said.
Recapping the scoring. Did you have a point
Nope,
to finish? I'm
no.
sorry, I cut you off. All right, recapping the scoring. Jake Fuss got it started at 12:10 of the first. From McCormick, a power play goal. It was 1-0. Then Benjamin Brown for Darien at 3:07 of the second. Collins the assist. It was 1-1. McCormick from Ziegler and Gazzetta, and that came at 4:25 of the second period. It was 2-1 Fairfield. Darien tied it up with Knowlton from Scott Voigt. 2-2 at 13:21 of the second. In the third, Knowlton began to take over at 7:13. Brown the assist. It was 3-2 there. And then Hazelton from Mullen at 11:06. And that's how we wrap up the night. Earlier this evening, it was New Canaan all over Ridgefield in back of Catherine Granito with 4 goals, 5 points on the night, a 7-0 win in girls ice hockey. You'll hear about all this tomorrow on Coffee Break, as we will say that will do it from the Darien Ice Rink. Final score, once again, game number 1, the girls game, New Canaan 7, Ridgefield 0. Here in the nightcap, Darien doubles up Fairfield 4-2. For Fairfield, they dropped to 9-2-1, 5-1 in the FCIAC. Darien now 11-1, 6-0 in the conference. Hats off to Mike Grace, 40 saves for Fairfield, but David Voigt gets the win, 15 saves on the night. Coffee Break gets your day started tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock as well tomorrow afternoon, and we're back with you later in the week. I believe we have track and field to talk about, and that is coming up on Thursday at 4:30 at the Floyd Little Athletic Center. For our entire crew here, Marty Hersom, Dave Stewart, AJ Simonowski, Eric Gendron, Frank Granito, Chris Callen, I'm Rob Adams. New Canaan 7, Ridgefield 0, Darien 4, Fairfield 2. Good night, everyone.
The preceding has been a presentation of the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, and entertainment in Fairfield and Westchester counties. This is the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut and beyond.